Traditional.
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 Travel with us today to a classic small town in America and experience the role of traditional values. Today we will spend time with high school students, business people, tourists, volunteers, and people involved in the correction system, plus the people they interact with every day in the place where they live and work, in Pennsylvania. Young people everywhere have certain things in common. Listen to one from a traditional lifestyle to experience what her everyday life is like.
My name is Kaylee McBride. I'm 17. I go to Wellsbury High School, and this year I'm going to be a senior. I play softball in the spring and in the summer, but this summer we don't have a softball team because of lack of interest and not enough girls signed up to play. So tomorrow I'm leaving for softball camp at Penn State University, and I'll be spending 5 days there practicing and training for next year. And in the fall, I don't really do anything. I'm in band, but I'm not going to do it next year. Just going to support the football team and watch my brother play. And I might play tennis, but I'm not sure yet. And then in the winter, I ski. I'm a certified ski instructor at Denton Hill, and this is going to be my 4th year working there. And my 2nd year, I took this 2-day training course to be professionally certified, and it was 2 days long, and it was an intense workout, and they just checked you on all your skills and your teaching skills and your skiing skills, and I passed that. So I have this little pin now, and I'm professional. Then in the spring, it's softball season, and I played varsity this year and JV the past 2 years. And usually I play on 2 teams. We have the high school team and then the regular, it's like a little league season, and I play for that. And last year we won districts. So this year for the Laurel Festival Parade, we're going to be having a float in the parade, and I'll be on that today. And it's traditional that our high school band goes first in the parade. It's something that has always happened. We always go first, and the middle school band follows us. And I think usually what they do is they judge the bands on their performance, and I don't think we're judged just because we're like the hosts and we're here. So they don't judge us. And the parade, it starts at 2, and it usually lasts for about a good 2 hours. And that goes on, and that starts at the high school and goes all the way down to the hospital. So here I'll be marching in the band and then coming back up and riding down on our softball float. So that'll be fun. I play softball in the spring.
Softball is an easier form of baseball, usually for children or women.
And I played varsity this year and JV the past 2 years.
Varsity is the first team for a school, the older people, and JV, junior varsity, is for the younger team, the second team in a school.
We're going to be having a float in the parade.
Musicians are performers. That's what we do. We do perform. So enjoy the day. We're the host band. I need time because every year I have to deal with shoes from a visiting band they forgot, or drumsticks, or bells, or something. So I need to be available in the band room. I need you to take care of your uniform. Deal with it. The art room will be unlocked, but the door will be closed. We don't want to advertise it being open. So the first one up will determine where the pile begins, the pants on the left, the sashes on the second row, and the swords on a counter, please, if you will. Music in the red tub in the band room. And I'm very proud of you. You always sound good. I've had people already tell me, boy, your band always sounds good. Let's put the look good into it now. Keep the spacing good. All righty, please go change. I would like you to be out where you would be, out by the tennis courts, by 1:45. By 1:45. By 1:45.
Americans say time differently. Quarter of. Some rituals can be profitable for the business community and make tourists curious at the same time. Visit a traditional festival to find out how various participants feel about this event.
I am Mary Worthington. I'm the Executive Director of the Wellsboro Area Chamber of Commerce, and we sponsor the particular event that's taking place today. It's the 57th Annual Pennsylvania State Laurel Festival. This festival started in 1938 as a promotion for this community. In Pennsylvania, tourism is the second largest industry. That is true also for Wellsboro and Tioga County. We're very dependent on the dollars that we realize from the tourists coming to visit this area. We have found that events in particular are a good way to introduce people to the things we have to see and do here. And so we have scheduled probably 7 events just from this office alone. And other communities also conduct events. The Laurel Festival is a 1-week-long event. The beginning of the week, fairly quiet, low-key. The final weekend, and that's always the 3rd weekend in June, the major events take place, beginning with over 100 arts and crafts, vendors on the green, food concessions. It is traditional for us to work 21 days straight through these 2 events that run back to back. The beginning of the week, fairly quiet, low-key.
Low-key is a phrase that's the opposite of overdone, when something is quiet.
Arts and crafts, vendors on the green.
Vendor is a person who sells goods, also vending machines.
Roll on the ground, boys, roll on the ground. Eat soda crackers and roll on the ground. Work on the railroad, $1 a day. Eat soda crackers, wind blown away. Roll on the ground, boys, roll on the ground. Eat soda crackers and roll on the ground.
Hi, I'm Officer Lewandowski with the Wellsboro Police Department. Here we are with the traditional Laurel Festival once again. Wonderful activities out here. And just without the festival, if we're not in the festival, it's back to the regular police routine, which is your basic keeping the streets clean and getting the bad guys out there and protecting the community.
I'm Verna Spiegelmeyer from Sillins Grove, Pennsylvania, central Pennsylvania area. And we come to the Laurel Festival for years, and we love it. There's so much to see and do. The crafts and the mountains and the laurel is just beautiful.
I'm Beverly Funk. I'm from Sunbury, Pennsylvania, central Pennsylvania also. We come up here because it's great for companionship, fellowship, and just such beautiful scenery.
And we're sisters.
Yes.
I am Mike and Sharon Brunner. We're from Reading, Pennsylvania. We have a cabin nearby, and we come here every year. We love the town, and we'd like to move here someday.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's my honor and privilege to present to you the 1998 Pennsylvania Laurel Queen, Miss South Williamsburg.
Hello, my name is Jessica Hall. I, 5 minutes ago, just won the Laurel Queen of Pennsylvania. I'm still in shock, so I don't know quite what to say, but this was an incredible experience. I've never been in a town where people have so much pride and so much, everyone was so nice. It was unreal to me how nice everyone was. And I met so many neat people. The first hour, all of us girls got together. We were all kind of fake and not ourselves. Within 2 hours, in all honesty, I made some best friends. I think I will definitely keep in touch with some of the people I've made for the rest of my life. And I'm very honored to be representing my school. My school, this is kind of the cherry on top of the cake or whatever. My school has done so well this year with athletics and music and now this, so I'm very honored to be representing my school. So thank you very much. This is kind of the cherry on top of
This is the phrase that you use to talk about something good that happens after something else good has happened. The term traditional in America usually refers to a shorter period of time than in other cultures, but this doesn't mean that it's less important. A diner is a traditional style of restaurant that has existed for less than 50 years, but is already considered a classic. Originally made from railway cars, these small places to eat became very popular in the 1950s and are still serving hungry people good home-style cook today. Many aspects of a traditional community can only survive because volunteers are interested in making sure they continue. Spend time with various people to find out why they volunteer.
How old are you? Any better? Okay, I'm going to take your blood pressure, and then we'll be on our way to the hospital here in a minute. You're going to feel this tighten up on your arm? Okay, Ryan, we got a blood pressure of 132 over 65 with a pulse of 105. Respirations are 20. I'm a volunteer emergency medical technician with our all-volunteer Wellsboro Ambulance Association. I was working my regular job. I work with the environmental protection government with the state and happened to be in Wellsboro when this young lady tripped on the sidewalk and broke her ankle. Since I was available at that time, I, with some other people from our department, made this ambulance call and picked her up in front of the local theater. We applied a splint to her leg, and I'm taking her blood pressure, getting past medical history, such as things like, is she allergic to any medications, is she taking any medications, her last meal, things like that to determine if there might be any problems with her. Then we'll be taking her to the hospital. We'll give our report to the nurses and the doctors at the hospital so that they can take proper care of her. When we're done here with this ambulance call, I will then return to my regular job. I might get to go to lunch today if I have time, but trying to balance volunteerism with our regular job is sometimes pretty difficult. The night before, we had made a couple of ambulance calls. I got about 4 hours of sleep. After those 4 hours of sleep, I ended up taking a transfer to another hospital about 50 miles away. When I came back, I was supposed to go to a barbecue with my family, and I ended up going to bed last night about 11 o'clock, and after 5 hours of sleep, getting up and going to work again. And that's pretty typical of a volunteer with an ambulance service in the United States.
My name is Mark Cooper. I'm from Wellsboro, Pennsylvania, and I'm the fire chief here at Department 1 in Wellsboro. What we do here mainly is rescue and fire. We have approximately 400 fire calls a year and approximately 40 volunteers out of the station that are active. We do anything from snow rescue with snowmobiles to do rescue from fires. We fight fire, and anything that we're asked to do, we do. We've been known to do cat rescues. Anything that the community needs, but we try to do ourselves. We raise most of our own money through a carnival once a year, and the other funding that we get is through the state for the equipment. We have approximately 7 frontline trucks. It's all manned by volunteers. We have different shifts of volunteers because they have to work. So at certain times we have a good turnout, certain times not such a good turnout. Volunteer fire organizations in Pennsylvania are a tradition. They've been going on for hundreds of years. We have members here who have their sons in here and their grandsons, and they have all been volunteers. I personally have a son-in-law that's in the department. In the neighboring department, I have an uncle, 4 cousins, and a nephew. During the day, when we're not fighting fires, everybody has their own job or their own life. I personally run a small store out of town, 3 miles out of town. I have 3 grandchildren, 2 children, and a wife. And almost everyone here has another life besides this. But when the alarm goes off, then that's the time that they usually give up that part of the life and devote it to this part. So at certain times we have a good turnout, and at times not such a good turnout.
Turnout refers to the number of people who meet for a special reason.
Hello, my name is David Schultz. I'm the chaplain here at Soldiers and Sailors Memorial Hospital. In addition to being a chaplain, I'm also the coordinator of the volunteer program. We have numerous types of volunteers. We have adults who work at various places in the hospital, such as the information desk, the emergency room, surgical waiting rooms, waiting areas for families. They work at different, they even help out on the nursing floors, helping out the nurses, pass meals, doing water pitchers, and, stocking rooms and so forth. A lot of these people are retired, and they don't have anything to keep them busy. And they want to become involved. They've worked all their lives, and now they want to give something back to the community. And they get a satisfaction out of that.
I'm Peggy Osgood, and this is the information desk at the hospital. This hospital has been here since 1942. It's a very special place in all of our hearts. We've all been so proud of it. Volunteering has been a part of our tradition. The volunteers work here at the desk, giving information to the patients. Excuse me. Fine, how are you? What can I do for you? Do you need an errand? Okay, we'll be glad. We'll be right there. Do you need an errand? Okay.
When you run an errand, you go someplace and do something for someone else.
My name is Kathy Eldridge. I'm the volunteer coordinator for the Home Health and Hospice program. North Penn is part of the Laurel Health System, the hospital, Soldiers and Sailors Memorial Hospital, and the nursing home, the Green Home. My job is to, when a patient, a hospice patient or a home health patient needs help in their home, besides a nurse or a home health aide, the family may need the help. The nurse calls me and asks me to find a volunteer.
And that's where I came in. First of all, when I first got into the program, we had to be trained for 6 weeks. Okay, Kathy was the coordinator of that, and she had help training us. So after we got trained, then about 2 weeks ago, I got my first family to go to. And that was kind of interesting. It's an elderly lady who informed us that she's not expected to live. Okay, a couple more months. She's been living for 4. She said 6 all told. It was kind of interesting to be able to relate our training from Kathy to this resident that we have in this private home.
I went in with Eileen and introduced her to the family and introduced her on what to expect.
And what we do basically, we go in the evening from 4 to 8. We leave a woman that's there during the day. I have a companion who also is trained on this coordinating program with me. And all we do is basically, if she has to have a drink of water or if she wants to eat, we help her eat, take her to the bathroom. She, fortunately for us, is very able to get up with a little care herself, take herself to the bathroom, and we make coffee. And as we were there the second day, she said, I asked her what she would like to do maybe. Is there something she would like to do? She told me she'd like to go to our casino. Now, I'm sure you have casinos in Germany too. I'm not sure on that, but here that's where you go and you put quarters in the slot machine and try and win money. So that, we're going to coordinate that with her family in hopes we'll be able to make her wish.
I'm Beulah Palmer. I happen to be a retired nurse, but it's certainly not a necessity for the kind of work that we're doing. I got into the program about 8 years ago after my husband died after a long illness. I was his caretaker at home, and I really felt the need for someone to come in and just give us a little change once in a while and give me a chance to go get my hair done or whatever needed to be done. So I volunteered, and we had a very good training program, and I've had quite a variety of clients that I've visited, and I've enjoyed them all. One of the strangest requests that I've had was that I was to take the dog out at the appropriate time and see that he was ready back in before I came back in with him.
I've done that also.
Yes. So we have some unusual things that we do sometime, but it's very interesting work and very rewarding.
And it's an elderly lady who informed us that she's not expected to live.
Elderly is a polite word used in the place of old.
I was his caretaker at home.
A caretaker is someone like a nurse who helps a sick person at their home. The American judicial system has not only traditional aspects, but very modern ones as well. Find out about opportunities provided in a county prison nowadays.
My name is Ralph Humans. I'm the warden here at Tioga County Prison. That's a rural prison in a rural community in north central Pennsylvania. This prison is designed to hold about 72 inmates. I have a staff of 38 officers. And when we first moved here to this facility, I invited Mansfield State University to provide some GED programs for our inmates. They obliged that request, and we do receive some grants to provide the inmates with some education. I believe that we have a responsibility of care, custody, and control of inmates. And one of those responsibilities is to try to correct the inmate and to steer them in the right direction. And of course, an education is one way of doing that. To provide some GED programs for our inmates.
This is a chance for people who didn't finish high school to get a diploma.
We have a responsibility of care, custody, and control of inmates.
When you have custody over something, you have control and care for them.
I'm a retired school math teacher, and I have time, and I'm willing to come over and help.
Yeah, I'd appreciate that because we're going over math, and so far the part that I can't understand very well is the ratio and proportions of a problem.
Mm-hmm.
If it's written out in like a written problem,
yes,
I have a hard time understanding where I'm supposed to put my numbers.
How many times a week would you like to have me come over to help you?
Well, that would all depend on your schedule. I have a lot of time here.
You have a lot of time here.
Yes.
What is your goal as you go through this math, and why do you want to continue to study? I think it's important for both of us to think about that.
Well, by trade, I'm a carpenter.
Yes.
And in the carpentry business, math is real important.
Yes.
And not knowing math the way I should, I kind of adapted my own way of doing things. And it doesn't always work. And I kind of go through trial and error.
Right.
And I want to get more study out of math and learn math and help me get my GED, so when I'm doing carpentry in the future, I'll be able to do the job right the first time, so to speak. And I have some interest of maybe going to college for some a few more courses, and that has to deal with either carpentry or business. And since I've started taking the GED with Mrs. Kennedy, it's like learning is fun.
You know, this is today's world, and most of our students in our classes have got to make some giant steps forward to get into, you know, a high school education today. And when we get the GED test, we want them to have kind of a feeling that they're just as sharp as the young kids are. I hope that for myself someday, but I don't know if I'll get there.
Well, that's true. Some of them really pick up on the computer. Like I had a student that the actual book learning, he didn't like at all. I mean, he just hated the typical going through the book, doing the math, doing the English, and yet you put him on the computer and he ate that right up. He knew how to do word processing and do a lot of things on the computer that really surprised me. So apparently that was his, if we could make something useful for him on the computer where he would work on his math, and like she had programs.
Right. What we did in the classroom, we had a computer lady come in, and she would work on computer assisted education, where they put the disc in, and they worked on their reading, and they worked on their math.
Yeah.
And that helped him.
I kind of go through trial and error.
This is a term you often hear for people who try to do something again and again until they're successful.
And he ate that right up.
This has nothing to do with food. If you eat something up, you really, really like it.